please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. The pre-opening rates are in as we speak. Of course, it's going to be all over the place today, so we will wait for these rates to settle. And of course, we'll watch out for the currency opening as well. That's also going to be important. For starters, let's see if there's any rate that we're getting on DHFL and Indiabulls Housing. That, of course, will be the top of the mind, along with Yes Bank. DHFL is 10% up. Let's say Indiabulls Housing Finance, that's 8% also
up.
8% up. Yes Bank also up about 1.5%. But we'll wait for these rates to settle. That's the rupee, 72.47 is what we have.
Oh, that's a fall.
So
that was not expected.
Okay, 72.
It's quite clearly a crude impact.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a 27% decline that we have. SP Tulsan of sptulsan.com is also with us. Mr. Tulsan, good morning. Let's first discuss, the two stocks of, Friday, Yes Bank and DHFL. Your thoughts on what should investors do now?
Anuj, I think that on both the things we have seen the panic reaction, we should come to an end. Now it's just a matter of quantum, that how much it really revives or recover from these levels, because people will start comparing between DHFL with Indiabulls Housing Finance, because both have seen the correction. No doubt DHFL have seen a big correction, but on a fundamental basis the call has to be taken between Indiabulls Housing and DHFL. And maybe on DHFL, yes, the short, whether you call it short covering or renewed buying coming in back, will definitely be seen, but it's a matter of quantum. Coming on Yes Bank, after seeing the delivery buying of about 12 crore shares, seeing that the panic selling, that 12 crore share amounts to about 5.25% of the total equity, which has all got absorbed. So that after having this kind of sale, on a delivery basis, things have bottomed out there also, and again we will see the positive opening. So overall, things are looking, on a fundamental basis, valuations of all three companies seen having bottomed out, and maybe short covering, will definitely be adding some more positive bias to all three stocks.
Yeah,
Okay, in fact,
Tata Steel is starting with a 10% downtake, and Bajaj Finserv actually is lower. But we are seeing a little bit of green for Yes Bank and Bajaj Finance. So it's really still very much all over the place.
Yes, Tata Steel is actually adjusting now to about a 7% cut, but it's a cut nevertheless post that Usha Martin steel business acquisition. Mr. Tulsian, we'll come to you in a bit, but before that, we continue to have Santosh Kamath here. Santosh, just one final word from your end before we let you go. We had a statement from Arun Jaitley just a while back where they said that the government will take measures to provide liquidity if and when required to mutual funds. What do you think those measures could be?
If you ask me if the market believes that there will be measures, there won't be any need to measure. There won't be any need to do something. Okay. So it's all confidence boosting measures. If a line can come up, if a repo line can come up for corporate bonds, something like that. But most of the time, if 2 or 3 large regulators are telling you something, finance ministry is telling you something, I don't think we'll require the line anyway. So that's
okay. Well, on that positive note, you have definitely, warmed the hearts of those who are holding NBFC paper. Maybe equities will take some time, but as you say, perhaps the debt markets will come back on their feet sooner. Thank you very much, Santosh, for dropping in our studios this morning. Okay, so that's the word coming in from a fixed income expert that it won't be long before people will start looking for value, and at some yield, the markets, in a competitive market, people will want to buy this paper. For the moment, the market is going with that, and you are seeing green for Indiabulls Housing. That's up 6.3%, and let's pull up DHFL as well. That paper also trading in the green. And that's Indiabulls Housing, and that's DHFL. 10% up. We also have Nilesh Shah, the Managing Director of Kotak Mahindra Bank AMC, joining us on the phone line. Good morning, Nilesh. Thanks much for joining us. There have been a bunch of statements, RBI and Sebi giving a statement that they are watching and will take steps. And just about 10 minutes back, the finance minister tweeting that they stand ready to help mutual funds, NBFCs and SMEs. Will this be enough to put a bottom to debt and equity markets?
So right now, mutual funds have enough liquidity. And on Friday, we have paid redemptions. Today also, all redemptions are going through. But it is extremely important that we take precautionary measures. Due to advance tax outflow, system has got deficiency of about 1,30,000 crore. And there is also reports about Campa funds, which are lying today with banks, which will have to be transferred to government, both central and state. Now, that amount could vary from 52,000 crore to 1 lakh crore. Now, already we are in negative deficiency of 1,30,000 crore. And if more money is taken out of the system, and when money goes from banking system into government's account, it does take little bit time to come back into the banking system. So unnecessary systematic liquidity can get drained out and it becomes deficient. If system is illiquid, then obviously mutual funds and markets, which are dependent upon that liquidity, also faces that kind of pressure. And hence, the statements are extremely important, which says that if there is any unnatural deficiency in system, it will be taken care of.
Okay. Nilesh, good morning. Whenever we ask you whether you are bullish or bearish on market, you say that, you are a realist. Right now, at these levels, the kind of correction that we have seen, you think the market's attractive again?
Anuj, it's becoming attractive, but let's appreciate that over next 10 months, there will be enough bouts of volatility. Today, in this week itself, today tariff wars are becoming effective on $200 billion of Chinese goods. Then on Wednesday, we'll have US Fed giving their bubble chart for next year. And oil prices also, what we hear is that despite President Trump's request or threat to reduce oil prices, the response this time from OPEC has not been good. So there are so many variable factors, and hence one will have to be cognizant of his asset allocation and invest. Don't put all the money just because market has fallen.
Okay. Nilesh, hi, good morning. Coming back to the debt market, are we looking at a paucity of funds for lower rated paper now? Because retail investors perhaps could turn risk averse and then move to only high quality paper. Is that a situation that we could be staring at?
So will there be repricing of credit spread? Answer is yes. Clearly, we have been, as mutual fund, we have been operating more in AAA and AA kind of variety high credit papers. But their credit spreads had compressed because of a variety of reasons. Now I believe the credit will get repriced. The true blue chip companies will still continue to get funding at much lower rates. But companies which have little bit of doubt about their businesses, their credit spread will get widened.
Okay, so just these statements, will that keep the corporate redemptions at bay, you think? Or will corporates nevertheless want to take away some money from funds and just wait and come back later?
Oh, more than this statement, Lata, it's your statement which will make a difference. When you say markets are calm, I'm sure people will listen.
Oh, come on, Nilesh.
So apart from verbal intervention, what in 2013 actually we had seen when rupee had crashed from 55 to 70. At that point of time also RBI had made a statement that if mutual funds need liquidity, will be there. And that statement alone was more than sufficient to ensure that markets remain liquid.
Okay.
So my guess is that for the time being, the statements should be able to cool off the market.
Sure. All right, Nilesh, always good talking to you. Thanks a lot for joining us. That's the view from Kotak Mahindra AMC. The pre-open has settled 83 points higher on the Sensex, 21 higher on the Nifty, and the Bank Nifty up about 48 points. Before we go back to Mr. Tulsian, Ashwani, if this is the actual opening, what would be your trade and what's your 9-10 call?
First of all, given the large range day on Friday, you expect things to be a bit sideways. So first, 20 points gap up will easily get sold into. It may not make a fresh low, but I would think all 20, 30, 40 point rallies are likely to get sold because there are people who are still in, and if big money does not come back to buy, then it'll be tough going for the market on the upside. And individual stocks, I think now the market may start to differentiate between quality of NBFCs. So I think 914 Repco Home can still be sold with a stop of 470, target of 452.
Okay. Mr. Tulsian, I wanted to ask you about Tata Steel. This purchase of the steel business of Usha Martin. At the moment, the pre-opening is giving it a slight red tick. But your thoughts on Tata Steel itself?
Lata, I think this has to do more with the fall in their GDR value, if I'm not mistaken. On Friday it has fallen and nothing to do more with the acquisition of Usha Martin, because if you really see the acquisition of Usha Martin for about 1 million ton of his special alloy steel plant, at about 4800 crore, even if I take it to the higher range, along with the captive iron ore mines and coal mines are seen to be very much in place. But probably market may be worried on the balance sheet, getting stretched also with the debt, moving to 1 lakh crore. And they have been seen quite aggressive, they have acquired Bhushan Steel, now they have acquired this Usha Martin special alloy steel business. So they're taking all this into consideration, but I think that this has to do more with the GDR price behavior, which has fallen on Friday rather than the acquisition of Usha Martin.
Okay, well, a couple of more stocks that you'd want to perhaps look at. ITD Cementation has had an order win to the tune of almost 850 odd crores. That stock is actually moving quite a bit in pre-opening, up about 7.5%. TD Power has announced that they will be doing a buyback on the 8th of October. So TD Power is surging. And McLeod Russell, there's some positive news flow there as well. So McLeod Russell looking pretty good. But of course, the key focus will remain on the NBFC space. DHFL now is up 10% in pre-opening. So let's see how that shapes up. Manisha Gupta is also with us. She'll give us a roundup of all the action from the commodity space this morning. Manisha, Brent continues to be the talking point, back at $80.
Oh, well, yes, Sonia, and there are a lot of fundamentals which are supportive as well. To begin with, OPEC and Saudi Arabia have ruled out any immediate additional increase in output over the meeting that these ministers have had on the weekend, and that clearly has led to that reaction into the prices. Also, you have seen the Iran output continue to decline. The markets clearly are tightening around the world, and that's bothering the mass markets there. Also, if you look at the U.S. inventories, those are the lowest since 2015. There also is an OPEC report out about 2019 where they say that the non-OPEC output will continue to increase more than what the demand will, and that would lead to OPEC and the allies stick to their agenda of cutting output by 1.8 million barrels per day. So that tells you that even as the OPEC is not going to increase and Iran's sanctions will lead to decline, crude oil prices for the near term will continue to see support.
Okay, yes, it's getting a little eerie now, just inches away from $80. Mr. Tulsian, just wanted to ask you about Biocon as well. There's some good news coming for that stock. What's your view on Biocon?
Lata, definitely the news is positive, but if you really see the price behavior also, I think stock has risen by about 100 rupees in this last maybe couple of months. So maybe the valuation seems to be having factored in all the positives, and it is better that, for the fresh entry, we look for the other pharma stocks, maybe like Aurobindo or maybe Sun Pharma or maybe Glenmark at the current level.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, let you go on that note. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll talk to you in closing bell. Sudarshan, any interesting trade on your mind in looking at the pre-opening rates?
Yes, the Nifty is unknown. As a short-term trader, I don't know what to do with it. I've explained we should build a positional short position at current levels, buying puts for October. Dr. Reddy's and Cipla both are now coming up as buying opportunities for the day.
Does it make sense to buy any of these NBFCs from a long-term standpoint, Sudarshan, the likes of Chola Mandalam Finance, etc.?
No, I would not touch NBFCs generally as a generic sector. It's very difficult to choose one better one from a terrible sectors. Just stay away.
Okay, but what about, say, a positional trade in Sundaram Finance?
I'm sorry?
Sundaram Finance.
No, Sundaram is actually a better stock. But I think it's much easier to avoid the sector completely.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Mitesh, anything on your radar? We just have about half a minute.
Lata, again, pharma stocks. The pharma index is opening about 0.75% up. So I think clearly action should be there in pharma stocks. And the ones which are like Biocon or Aurobindo.
Okay. And, okay, sorry. Ashwini, is there a trade on Tata Steel? It's at 618.
Tata Steel is more an individual case. I think the best secular move will be in banks and NBFCs. So focus out there. Tata Steel, maybe 7, 8, 10% can happen, but I think it's more an individual event here.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to you with more questions on banks and NBFCs.